Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through a couple prize picks plays I like for this Week 5 Thursday Night Football game between the Commanders and the Bears. I got two plays to give you guys that I like for this game on Thursday night. As always, we're going to share these two plays, and we're going to give a quick breakdown of why I like each play. Before we do get started though, if you guys do enjoy these prize picks videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you are new to the channel, if you have never checked out Prizepicks before, you can actually sign up for Prizepicks and use my promo code Noah. If you do look at the bottom of the screen when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And for those of you that have never heard about Prizepicks, they are a player prop site, DFS site that focuses on player projections, and very simple, very easy to use. You're just picking more or less on a player's projection. They offer a ton of different sports, a ton of different prop categories that you can take a look at. They offer a lot of stuff that sports books don't offer as well. Like they have these combo props they've added with like field goals, with touchdowns, rushing yard combos. They also offer fantasy score, so you can take more or less on a player's fantasy point projection. So there's a lot of cool stuff that Prizepicks offers. And again, if you're not on Prizepicks yet, you guys can sign up and use my promo code Noah, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. I do also want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper, because we are partnered up with Sleeper, and you guys can actually sign up for Sleeper as well. Use promo code Noah over there and get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for Sleeper with my promo code. And Sleeper, pretty similar to Prizepicks and a lot of these other DFS pick'em sites, but on Sleeper, it is a dynamic payout system. So what that means is basically the odds, or the payouts will change based on what the odds are on a specific play to hit. So if the over has a high chance of hitting, the Sleeper might give you like a 1.4, 1.5x payout on that. But on the other hand, the under has a not a high chance of hitting, so you might get like a 2x or a 2.5 or a 3x payout for that play. So that does offer, or that does allow Sleeper to offer a lot of props that some of these other DFS sites can't offer. And on Sleeper, there's not really a ton of limits in terms of like the payouts. You can make entries with up to 8 picks, and you can make entries with up to 100x payout over on Sleeper. So if you really like to chase those high payouts, I definitely recommend giving a Sleeper a try. And again, if you're not on Sleeper, you can download their app either on the App Store or on the Google Play Store. Whether you have an iPhone or Android, use that promo code Noah when you sign up for Sleeper, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 as well. But yeah, guys, let's talk through this Prizepicks slate. Let's talk through this game. What I'm liking, two props that we're going to talk about in this game. The first one we're going to take a look at, we're going to go to the rush attempts category, and we're going to look at Brian Robinson, 15.5 rush attempts. And I like the over here. So more than 15.5 rush attempts for Brian Robinson is going to be our first play in this game. And if you take a look at Brian Robinson's game log this season, so he's played 4 games. The Commanders have played 4 games. He went over this line in weeks 1 and weeks 2. Weeks 1 and 2 against Arizona, he had 19 rush attempts in that game. Against Denver, he had 18 rush attempts. The last 2 weeks, he's gone under this line. Against Buffalo, 10 rush attempts, and against Philadelphia, 14 rush attempts. I think what really stands out here is that so far this season, in the 2 games the Commanders have won, those were the 2 games that Robinson went over this line, and the 2 games the Commanders lost, those were the 2 games Robinson went under. So it seems like when the Commanders are winning games and when they're playing with the lead, those will be games where you see Brian Robinson get a lot of carries, and it kind of makes sense because Brian Robinson is their early down back. He's going to get a lot of the work on first downs and second downs, whereas Antonio Gibson, he'll get a lot of the work in passing situations, on third downs, 2-minute drills, stuff like that. But Brian Robinson's getting pretty much all the first and second down carries. He's getting pretty much all the goal line work. And this is a game where you expect the Commanders to be playing with a lead. You expect the Commanders, they're favored to win this game. That doesn't mean they're going to win this game, but the Commanders are favored at home here by 6. This is a good matchup, too, against the Bears. The Bears have been a team you can run on this season. In terms of rush attempts allowed to opposing running backs, the Bears are giving up the 7th most rush attempts to running backs this season, so they've been a team that teams have run on against the Bears a lot this season. And I think we're going to see the Commanders be able to run the ball pretty efficiently here against a Bears defense that has really struggled against the run this season. And in what sets up as a positive game script for Robinson, in what should be a game the Commanders are playing with the lead, and what could be a game the Commanders are able to win as well, I like Robinson's chances of going over 15.5 rush attempts. Again, the weeks 1 and 2, he went over this line. Those were 2 good matchups. Those were 2 games the Commanders won. Last 2 weeks, he obviously went under, but those were two really tough matchups against good run defenses, against Buffalo, against Philly. Those were also two games that the Commanders lost. So I think there's a good chance, again, when you see the Commanders win games, you'll see a lot of rush attempts from Brian Robinson. When they lose games, that'll be games where probably Robinson doesn't get as many carries just because they're going to be playing from behind in those games. But this doesn't set up as a game to be playing from behind. This sets up as a neutral, if not positive, game script for the Commanders here. So give me more than 15.5 rush attempts for Brian Robinson is our first play for today. I do also want to mention that if you look on DK Sportsbook right now, Brian Robinson is pretty heavily favored, minus 130 on DK Sportsbook to go over 15.5 rush attempts. Now, the other play that I like we're going to look at is going to be in the receiving yards category. We're going to take a look at Khalil Herbert, 11.5 receiving yards, and this is another over that I like. So more than 11.5 receiving yards for Khalil Herbert. Now, you look at the first 4 games this season, Herbert has gone over this line in 3 out of 4 games. Week 1 against Green Bay, he had 37 receiving yards. Week 2 against Tampa Bay, 23 receiving yards. He only had 4 receiving yards against Kansas City in Week 3, but then went over last week, had 19 receiving yards against Denver. Now, the Bears have been using 2 guys at the running back position. It's been Herbert and Roscoe Johnson getting most of the work at running back for the Bears. They pretty much haven't involved really anyone else. I mean, last week you did see Kyrie Blossingame play 15 snaps, but he's typically not a guy we should expect to play a ton of snaps. Like, he only played 7 snaps in Week 1, 5 snaps in Week 2, 5 snaps in Week 3. It's going to be pretty much like a split between Herbert and Johnson. And Herbert this season at least has been the guy getting the majority of the snaps. Now, Week 1, Herbert only played 36% of the snaps, but Week 2 he got up to 60%. Week 3 he got up to 55%, and then last week Herbert actually played a season high 78% of the snaps. There was reports that Roscoe Johnson was going to see more work as the season progressed, and he was maybe going to take over as the lead back. Maybe that happens as the season progresses, but given the usage last week, it seems like they want to play Herbert right now as the RB1, and Herbert was really efficient with his touches last week. He was really efficient on the ground, and he also got a lot of work in the passing game. And so far this season, they've been using Herbert a lot in the passing game. He got 5 targets in Week 1, had 3 catches for 37 yards in that game. He got 3 targets in Week 2, only had 1 catch, but that 1 catch he did turn into 23 yards. He had 2 targets in that game against Kansas City, 2 catches for 4 yards. And then last week he saw 5 targets, 4 catches for 19 yards. He's been running a good amount of routes as well. I think last week he ran a season high in routes. He ran 26 routes. That's actually the second most routes he's ran like in his entire career. So they've been involving Herbert a lot more in the passing game this season. And even though they do have Johnson, who they'll use in the passing game as well, Herbert's still getting 3-4 targets a game. And I was looking at some lines, just kind of like what Herbert's projections are, and I was looking at his reception prop. His reception prop on DK Sportsbook, it's set at 1.5, and it's minus 190 favoring the over. So Herbert is heavily favored to get 2 receptions here. If he gets 2 receptions, I think he's got a pretty good chance of getting 12 yards. I think he can get 6 yards per reception. When it comes to running backs and it comes to receiving yards for running backs, a lot of times running backs can they can go over a line like this in only 1 catch, just because if they get like a screen pass and they have good blocking, I mean, there's obviously a chance Herbert could get a screen pass and get some good blocking, and he could get 12 yards on 1 catch. I mean, that game against Tampa Bay, he had just 1 catch in that game, and he had 23 yards. Like, he got 23 yards on 1 catch. So it's not like we need Herbert to get like 7 targets or anything to go over this line. This is a line that he could literally get in 1 catch. Just with how much they've been using him in the passing game lately, with his snap share increasing last week. I know, again, there's reports of Johnson taking over as the RB1, throughout maybe later on in the season, but that wasn't the case last week. It was Herbert getting a lot of the work. He was getting a lot of the pass game work as well. I like this over on 11.5 receiving yards. And on DK Sportsbook right now, Herbert is pretty heavily favored to go over this line. He's minus 130 favored to go over 11.5 receiving yards. So both these props, the Robinson prop and the Herbert prop, are both minus 130 on DK. So both these are favoring the over in terms of their odds to hit. And these are 2 plays that I dug a little bit deeper into and that I like quite a bit as well. So this one I'm gonna be rolling with, guys, for this Thursday night football game between the Commanders and the Bears. 2 plays I like: Brian Robinson more than 15.5 rush attempts, and then Khalil Herbert more than 11.5 receiving yards. Usually for these primetime games, for these island games, I typically don't go like too heavy on these. I typically play just like one entry. This will probably be the only entry that I play, but if I do decide to play anything else, I will share that over on Patreon. I do give out more Prizepicks plays over on Patreon. I do also give out sleeper entries over on Patreon as well. So if you guys want to check that out, you can check that out, linked down below in the description. But as always, appreciate you guys watching the video. Make sure you hit that like button down below. If you guys did enjoy, hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. And be sure to go check out Prizepicks. If you guys are not signed up for Prizepicks yet, get signed up over there. Use that promo code NOAH, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the video, supporting the channel, supporting the content. Appreciate you guys a ton. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.